Right, there we go. I've worn my super bright pants, so I stand out from the wall today. So, in particular today, because I'm not doing so much stopping between moves to describe what we're doing, I'm just going to try and keep flowing just a few repetitions of each move. So hopefully I'm bright enough that you can see me across the room. If you want, you can set your screen so it's on speaker mode, and then that'll make me a bit bigger, because today I am demoing everything and I'm going to do it with you rather than stopping and watching you. I've got you on the big screen here so I can check and make sure that you're nice and safe as we go along, but as much as possible I'm going to be doing it with you, and you'll see how I get tired really quickly because I've not been doing it with you for so long. So the aim is I'll come along, do the moves with you. As always, omit any exercise that's not working for you, or if you know an alternative variation or something that is suitable for you, feel free to change it to suit yourself, but always just look after your body, especially because it's a morning and we don't normally do morning classes. Your body can be a bit stiffer and not quite so ready for it, so just feel what your body wants to do today. And then with that, let's get going. So like I say, I'm going to do about 3 reps of everything, but you know I can talk quite a bit, so sometimes we'll go over that, but that's the final aim. So come and lie yourself down on your back, feet on the floor, knees bent. And then from there, I'm just going to recap the neutral and imprint of the pelvis. So your neutral is where you've got that natural curve of your lower back lifting off the floor. Almost feel like you could fit a little blueberry underneath your lower back. Whereas your imprint is where you tilt your pelvis towards you and you may feel your lower back lowering down towards the ground. That's your imprint. So I just want you to roll between those two positions. Your neutral is flat, and your imprint is where your lower back presses down towards the ground. Not necessarily pressing, but it's just flattening against the ground. Next time you come to neutral, just pause there. You're going to keep your hips in neutral as you lift one leg to tabletop, and then keep the hips in neutral as you bring that other leg to tabletop, and then just place those legs together, squeeze them gently together. Double check you're in neutral, and then press the arms down into the ground. So when you press down, is it just your hands and elbows, or can you press the back of your shoulders into the ground as well? And feel what muscles engage on the back of your body. Try and keep them engaged as you lift your arms, straight arms, so the hands are just above hip height. And then we're going to go into the hundreds, so that beating action with the arms, where you inhale for 5 beats and exhale for 5 beats. Can you keep those muscles engaged on the back of your shoulders, the back of your body, as you curl your head, neck and shoulders up? Still beating with the arms, still in neutral. And then can you extend the legs straight, so out at an angle away from you, or if that hurts your lower back, you can take them up more towards the ceiling. But see how low can you go whilst keeping that neutral with your pelvis as you do the hundreds. And then because this is our first session, we're not going to go all the way through the whole 100 because we're probably about 60 now. You're just going to lower the legs down all the way to the ground, and then lower the head and arms all the way down to the ground, stretching nice and long through the body. And then however you want, you're going to come up, so you can either hug your knees and rock up, or you can roll up, or you can just get up any old which way you want. And then just give yourself a bit of space behind you. Legs are straight, hip distance apart. Flex your feet, so really reach long through your heels, and then dig the heels down into the ground. Take the arms out in front of you. And then just going to round the back gently, so roll back behind your sit bones just gently. Has that made your shoulders come up to your ears? See if you can pull them down away from your ears. I saw you, Maggie. And then you're going to keep that C-shaped spine and just tilt it backwards. So the spine doesn't change shape. You're just rocking that C-shaped spine backwards and forwards. So to do that, you're moving your pelvis. So as your pelvis tilts back, your spine automatically goes along for a ride. going backward and forward. And the aim is to keep your heels dug in and go as far back as you can whilst your heels stay dug into the ground. And I was saying the aim is to try and get your pelvis all the way till it's flat on the floor and then come all the way back up. But only go as far, like I say, as you can keep your heels down into the ground. And then this last one, just pause at the top and then we'll go down together. You're going to roll down, this time going all the way down to the ground. Don't worry, we're not coming back up. So gravity will help you get down there. Lower your arms down by your side and then you're just going to lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Try and be neutral with your pelvis as you circle your left leg. You're going to go clockwise to start with and make them as big as you can. And I don't even mind if your hips roll around, but you're just going to do nice big giant circles with that left leg. And then change direction, so now you're going anti-clockwise. And then pause when it's at the ceiling. Lift the right leg up to meet it, so both legs are up to the ceiling now. And then lower the left leg down onto the ground. Dig that left heel down into the ground. As you circle your right leg, you're going to go anti-clockwise to start with. Nice big circles. And then clockwise. And then come to rest. So we're going to come up to seated. You can get up any way you want, or you can try hugging onto your right leg and curling the body up, pushing that leg away to help roll you up. Nice, Anne, lovely. So, going to do roll like a ball now. You're going to hug your, let's go for just holding the back of your upper leg. So your lower leg's free. And then just have your feet hovered off the floor. And from there, as you roll back, you can extend the legs and then bring them back to bent as you come back up. Nice. So I call these leg flaps. Don't know why. Not very inventive with my names. And then make that your last one. Pause at the top. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Oh, Maggie wanted another one. She's loving that too much. She's off and away. Hug the left knee into your chest, holding onto your shins or just below your knee. And then extend the right leg out at a 45-degree angle-ish. And then slowly try and roll yourself down just until your pelvis is flat on the floor. So you're like you're doing a sit-up, curl-up position. And then keep that spine exactly where it is as you switch the legs over. For single leg stretch. And so you're hugging that knee, trying to reach it in towards your cheek, your face cheek, just for clarity. So Maggie, go a little bit lower so you're lying down on the floor rather than sitting up. Yeah, there we go. Good. And then hug both knees into your chest and then reach both legs away. Just point your fingers towards your knees and then hug both legs in, stretch them both away, double leg stretch, hug them both in, stretch them both away. One more time, hug them both in, stretch them both away. Same again, you're going to come up to seated, so get up any which way you want, but if you can, rock up, roll up. Come sit with your legs in a V shape, so your feet about the width of the mat. Flex the feet, reach long through the heels, sitting up nice and tall, dig the heels down into the ground and just rest your fingers on the floor between your legs. So to start sitting up tall, and then you're going to round from the top of your spine, working down your spine, slowly rounding forward as your hands reach towards your feet or between your feet. And then restacking all the way back up. So starting at the top of your spine to round forward and reach forward. And restack starting at the bottom of your spine to bring you back to upright. Good. Still digging the heels in and see if you can bring those shoulders away from your ears as you go. One last one, rounding forward and restacking back up. Lovely. Bend the legs, still having these quite wide. And then just grasp the hands where we had them before, behind your upper legs. And then can you round your spine back enough so that the feet just float up off the floor? So you're keeping, rather than being crunched and compressed in your spine, you're still trying to be a long capital C rather than a little c. And then from there, can you straighten one leg? So it doesn't have to go all the way to straight, just see how straight you can go. and then the other leg. So alternate leg, straighten and bend. And the aim is to try and keep your knees as tight to your chest as you can as you bend and straighten. And one last one. And then see how straight you can get both of them together. Bring them together and then slowly walk your hands down your legs to bring yourself down to lying down. Nice, lovely. Pin both legs together, and similar how we did with single leg circle, you've now got two legs acting as one leg as you circle, just small circles this time. One clockwise and then one anti-clockwise. So keep changing direction, and this is called corkscrew or corkscrew prep. One last one, and then bend the knees in and bring yourself up to seated in your chosen way. Again, sitting with the legs nice and wide, feet flexed, heels dug into the floor. Sit up nice and tall as you reach your arms out to a T shape. And then from there, we're going to do the saw. So you twist and then reach with your little finger for the opposite little toe. Restart back up and come back to center. Twist the other way, twist. Saw towards your little toe and then restart back up, back to center. One more each side. Twist, reach, restack, center. Lovely. Then this next time we're going to use that twist to get ourselves over onto our front. So as you twist, you then use your hands and legs to flip you over onto your front. Lying nice and straight, and then just place your hands in front and wider than your shoulders. And then think about that imprinting with your pelvis. So you're pressing your pubic bone down towards the floor and trying to lift your belly up away from the floor. And then have your legs together if you can, or if you have lower back issues, feel free to take them a little bit wider, about hip width. And then from there, you're going to lift up into a back extension and then lower back down. Let's inhale to lift up and exhale to lower down. Inhale deeply into the front of your ribs and then exhale back down. Next time you lift up, just pause there. Can you lift your knees up off the floor? And then can you press your hands into the ground to lift you up even higher? Your legs might go down to the ground as your body comes up higher. From there, just turn the head left to look over your left shoulder. And then turn to the right to look over your right shoulder. Back to center and lower the body all the way back down. And again, lift up into that back extension. Then hover the knees. Then press into the hands to lift you up a little bit higher. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left, back to centre and lower all the way back down. Come pop your, so that was swan prep. I'm going to go into single leg kick now. So come up onto your elbows, so your elbows are underneath your shoulders, or if that's hard on your back, feel free to take the elbows a little bit further forward or wider. But the aim is that elbows are below your shoulder. Make fists with your hands and press them down into the ground. Press the elbows down into the ground and push your body up and away from the floor. That's your start position. So just checking again that you're at imprint, so you're pressing your pubic bone down towards the ground. And try and hold all that still as you kick your left heel in towards your bum 2 times. Kick, kick, and then stretch it away. Right heel, kick in twice, kick, kick, and then stretch away. Keep alternating leg, kick, kick, and stretch. And if you're finding it easy, you can try and hover both your knees off the floor throughout the movement. One last one, and then come to rest. Take the arms, slide them out away in front of you until you're lying down with your forehead or nose on the ground. And then circle the arms out to the side, and then all the way down by your sides, down by your hips, straight arms. Good. So we're going to lift up into the dart now. So that's that back extension like we were just doing, and then lifting the palms, straight arms by your side, lifting the palms up towards the ceiling. So I like to think of like you're flying through the air. So that's your dart. And then lower everything back down to the ground again. This time both heels are going to kick up into your bum 3 times. So kick, kick, kick. And then lower the legs down as you lift up into that dart. Going to alternate between those 2 moves. So from the dart, lower down, resting on the floor, Kick the heels in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Straighten the legs back out and then lift into that dart. One more time. Kick, 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 and then lift it up into that dart. And then lower everything down to the ground. Press yourself up into all fours position and then spin yourself over, ready for neck pull. So legs are going to be together, feet flexed, heels digging into the ground. Take your hands one palm over the other and then place it behind your head. And then sit up as nice and tall and straight as you can. From there, you're going to round the spine forward, but being careful you're not using your hands to push your head down. You want to be more pushing your head back into your hands, if anything, or just be gentle with your hands to start with. And then restack to sit up nice and tall. So now you're in that nice straight spine. You're going to try and keep it as you lean your body back, just as far as you can keep your heels digging into the floor. And then round the spine to come forward again. And then restack your spine back up to sitting up tall and straight. So leaning back, rounding forward, restacking back up. Never yanking your hands into your head as you go. Trying to keep nice and wide with your shoulders throughout the movement. Next time you restack back up, just pause there. Place your hands down by your side to lower yourself down onto the ground, onto your mat. Take your left leg straight up towards the ceiling. Curl your head, neck and shoulders up and grab hold of your leg just below the knee or above the knee. Good. And then have your elbows bent out towards the side and be nice and strong with that leg. And then stretch the other leg out at an angle, so about 45-degree angle away from you. Good. And then keep that curled up position. You can use your leg to help curl you up to make sure the back of your shoulders are off the floor. And then from there, switch the legs over. And switch. And switch. And be nice and strong with the arms, making a nice strong ring between your leg and your body. Good. And just check in the shoulders aren't hitching up towards the ceiling, towards your ears, sorry. So pull those shoulders back and down. And this is scissors. One last one. Bend both legs in towards you. And then lower the feet down to the ground. Your hands and your head all lower down to the ground. Have your feet quite close into the bum, like you could almost touch them, your heels with your fingers. Feet either together, or if you've got back issue, take them to hip width apart. Just press the back of your shoulders down into the ground, then imprint the pelvis, and then start lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And then reverse to go back down. One vertebra at a time, slowly lowers down to the ground for shoulder bridge. Tilt the pelvis to start the move and then lift up. Imagine you're trying to point your pubic bone up towards the ceiling throughout the whole move. And then check in if your feet are together, have your knees veered apart from each other. Can you keep them pinned together for our last repetition of the shoulder bridge before you lower the spine all the way back down? Lovely, Anne. And then again, come up to seated, so get yourself up any which way you want. This time the legs are going to be together, long and straight, or as straight as they'll go. Feel free to have them bent if that helps you get a nice straight spine or sit up on a block. But you're going to still be digging your heels down into the ground. Arms out to a T. See if you can sit up taller and then twist to the right and back to centre. Twist to the left and back to centre. This time when you twist to the right, can you twist your hips to the left and then back to centre? And then twist to the left, try and twist your hips to the right and back to centre. So you're going to do a counter twist with your hips to make sure that your hips aren't just cheating and coming with you.
It's a challenge for the coordination, that Ruth.
Get all wet. One last one. And then use that twist to bring you over onto your side. So you're going to line yourself up nice and straight along the back of your mat. Feet are stacked, one on top of each other. Hips are stacked, one directly above the other. Shoulders one directly above the other. Just resting your head on your arm, whether it be behind your head or under your head. Just try and get your spine so it's directly in line. Your head is directly in line with your spine. Legs are straight. And then you're going to lift both legs up and plant them so that both feet are on the front of the mat. So you're now hinged at the hips. From there, take the top leg up to just below hip height, and then you're going to flex the foot. So you're reaching long through that heel as you bring the foot forward. And then point the foot as you take that leg back. Flex the foot to come forward, point to go back. Just check that the hips aren't travelling with the legs, so they stay directly over the other hip. And then next time the leg comes forward, can you press that hip further away? It wants to hitch up towards the shoulder. You're going to press it away and keep it pressed away as you flex the foot forward, point the foot back. One last one. And then we'll flip over and do the other side. So roll yourself over. Again, make yourself one straight line along the back of your mat. Take the top hand on the floor in front of you. Hips stacked, shoulders stacked, feet stacked. Pick both feet up and bring them over to the front of the mat. And then lift the top leg so that the leg's just about hip height, just below hip height. And then you're going to flex the foot to bring it forward and point to go back. Flex forward, point back. Next time it comes forward, just pause again. Think about that top hip. Can you push it down and away from your shoulders? And then keep it pressed away as you point to go back. One last one. And then come to rest. Come and roll yourself over so you're seated. Now the tricky bit begins. So, place your hands tented just on the floor by your hips. And then you're going to roll the spine back just far enough that you can float the legs up off the floor. And then you're going to take arms and reach them towards your toes. Then from there, you're going to try and stay balanced as the arms go up and down. Easier said than done. I did say, here's the tricky bit. And then next time the arms come up to that 45-degree angle, you're going to hold them there as try and get the legs to go up and down. As much as possible, it's hard to talk while doing this, as much as possible keeping the body still. Don't worry, there's only 3 reps of everything. I've lost count, we've done the 3, haven't we? And lower everything down to the ground. In fact, lower yourself down to the ground. It's called teaser. It's quite a teaser, that one. So I'm going to lie down on your front, stretch your arms out ahead of you, reaching for the wall ahead of you. From there, imprinting with the pelvis again, so that pubic bone pressing down to the ground as before. And then you're going to hover both hands up off the floor, and then come up into a back extension, and then bring the legs up. So it's like we're flying through the air. Ready for swimming. So left arm and right leg lift higher, and then switch, switch, switch. The body stays still, it's just opposite arm and leg lift higher, higher, switch, switch. Inhale for 5, let's go faster. So switch, 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 switch. It sounds funny when I say it faster. You've got to inhale for 5 beats and exhale for 5 beats. And then rest everything down to the ground. Have a quick breather. Push yourself back into child's pose. So your bum's going onto your heels and lower your forehead down to the ground. Have a quick wriggle while you're in that position. And then come on out that position. Pull. In fact, let's go for leg pull. So if you're not a fan of planks, feel free to have your knees down. But if you have your knees down, bring your hips forward so you're in a kneeling plank position. And whenever I mention foot, I mean knee, if you're going for the kneeling option. So from your plank position, you're just going to be imprinted with your pelvis still. So still that rotation of your pelvis. Then you're going to lift the left leg and lower it back down. Does that make your hips go up with that foot, or can you keep your hips down in that plank position? And then rest the knees down, have a quick child's pose, have a quick breather. Ready for side 2. So back into that plank position, lift and lower that leg. Good. One last one, and then lower the foot down, lower the knees down, and then we'll spin ourselves over. That's called leg pull down. So now we've got leg pull up. Place your feet flat on the floor, hands behind you. Whatever is most comfortable for your wrists. So if you have to have fingers pointing out, that's fine. For me personally, I like fingers pointing towards me. If you have hyperextending elbows, just remember to have a little soft bend in your elbows so they're not locked out backwards. I saw you. And then from there, you're going to lift the hips.
Mental.
And then from there, you're going to lift the hips and lower, just as far as feels comfortable for you. He was asking to come in, was he?
Oh God, he's banging like crazy to catch that.
And then make it one last one. If you can, hold that position and feed one leg through to bring you over onto your side. If not, just come to this side kneeling position any which way you want. Let me shuffle down so you can see past my background. So the aim is to have the knee directly underneath the hip, the hand underneath the shoulder, and then take your hand and place it around your ear, elbow up towards the ceiling. From there, just checking as your bum's sticking out behind you, can you push your pubic bone, point your pubic bone forward? And then you're going to lift and lower that leg, the straight one, not the other one, obviously. And then next time you lower it, you're going to lift up and go over to the other side. Again, hand under shoulder, knee under, excuse me, my porridge is fighting back. Knee under hip, hand hooked around your ear, lift and lower with the leg. Beautiful. And we've only got one more move left. Well, no, technically 2. And then come to rest. Come and spin yourself round, ready for boomerang prep. So have some space behind you if you want to do the full roll, but for now we'll just do the top half of the move. Hands tented down near your hips, legs straight and crossed at the ankles. Yeah, all casual looking. Looks nice and innocent to start with, doesn't it? Then you're going to round yourself forward like we do in spine stretch forward. Then you're going to take that round shape of your spine, tilt it back, 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 to the point that hopefully your legs can just float up off the floor. And then you cross the legs the other way around, and then the legs start lowering. You're going to keep your chest as close to your legs as you go forward. And then take the spine shape backwards to the point that legs can start floating. Hovering there, cross the legs the other way around, and then keep the chest as close to your thighs as you can as you come forward. Easier said than done. One last one. Round shape goes back. Legs float up or get hoiked up, whichever works for you. Cross the legs the other way around, and then keep the chest as close to the legs as you can as you come forward. Now that's basically the end of the series, so it gets pretty tough near the end there, so no worries if that was like, what the heck are we doing? But as always, we'll do a quick cool down, and as always, Pilates cool down is not really much in the way of cooling because it involves planks. Standing at the end of your mats. Inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling, come up onto your tiptoes. And exhale, lower the heels, squat down, reaching forward. Inhale up, tiptoes. Exhale, squat down, heels down. Then just standing up normally. And then rolling down, so starting at the top of your spine as you roll forward. Rolling down, your hands slowly lower down towards your toes. Bend your knees if you need to get your hands flat on the floor. And then take 4 strides out with your hands to take you out into a plank. From there, your shoulders are back and down. Keep them back and down as you do your 3 best press-ups that you can. And then round from the top of the spine, taking your hips up towards the ceiling. And then sink one heel down to the ground. And then switch for marching downward facing dog. And then both heels high as you round your back and walk your hands in towards your feet. And then just hang there upside down for a moment, shake your head, release it off, nod your head, release it off, and then restack your spine, tilting your pelvis to start with, and then restacking your spine up on top of it. Roll the shoulders back. And we are all done, guys. Well done.